Joining me now to talk about the health care battle and the victories to this point, the battle brewing in the Senate and the president's winning week, the executive editor for the Weekly Standard, Fox News contributor Fred Barnes. Fred, great to have you here.
Thank you.
And senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research, columnist for the New York Post, Betsy McCaughey. Good to see you, Betsy.
Thank you. Hi, Fred.
Hi, Betsy.
Let's start with this House bill is a victory for the president. It wouldn't be there. And to Paul Ryan's credit, he applauded the president's leadership. The first thing he said is he stepped onto before the microphones and cameras at the White House. Betsy, impressive.
Yes, and it clearly is the president's triumph. He had to intervene at the last minute to bring these Republicans together. Let's hope this is a good sign that the president will lead the way on tax reform as well. But this
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've still got to get through that Senate.
Right. Yeah. But this health bill is a big win. Repeals the individual mandate, repeals the job-killing employer mandate, saves the nation from the red ink, the flood of red ink due to Medicaid, cuts taxes $900 billion, and most importantly, will deliver to the people in the individual market, people stuck there, double-digit premium reductions. They maybe pay as little as half of what they're currently forced to pay.
And Fred, your thoughts about what lies ahead in the Senate? I mean, what Betsy outlined is the reality, but there are forces, as you well know, in the Senate who want to start anew.
Well, let me just say one thing first. I think the difference here was Trump. You know, he did what he didn't do the first time when they finally didn't send the bill for a vote. Then he told the House members what he thought they ought to do. This time, he did what he does best. He negotiated. And he made a deal when Fred Upton. He led. I mean, look, that was the difference here. And
but he was relying upon people who said they had that in the bag, if you'll remember. I'm not going to mention any. I'm not going to mention any names, but he was assured they had the votes, assured that they had the right structure and had the right outcome. They had none of it.
Okay, I thought you weren't going to go back to that. Anyway, but about the Senate.
I didn't mention Paul Ryan's name.
You know, all this stuff in the press today, including in Politico, that said the Senate has rejected the House bill.
Including Politico? Yeah. My goodness, what an august source that you're bringing to the air.
I do have a point here, and the point is that all this stuff about how the Senate doesn't like the House bill and so on, they never like a House bill. Yes. This is routine. They always complain. They sneer at the House. They look down on it, but they're going to have to deal with this issue.
Snotty, rude elitists. Yes. Whatever are we to do with them in Washington, D.C.?
Send them a bill.
Yes, but one of the most important signs that this bill will succeed, that it will get to the president's desk, is the comment by Mark Meadows, congressman who heads the Freedom Caucus, who said, yes, the Senate will change this bill, and we are prepared to accept those changes. He is really moving ahead, stepping into Paul Ryan's shoes as the real leader of the House on many issues.
Hey, Betsy, I know more about the House than you do. He's not stepping in there, but he's doing the right thing. He's not going to be the leader, but he realized, you know what, he had an epiphany sometime, and he realized that his group, the Freedom Caucus, was responsible the last time for a defeat when the bill was not sent to the floor. I know something about the
House, too. Now, those folks in the Tuesday group were also pretty responsible, but at the end, it was the Speaker who had assured the President that he had the votes who pulled the bill.
Well, then why did he pull the bill if he had assured the President that he had the votes? I don't think he ever did, but anyway.
Hey, he's your buddy. You tell me.
But the real lesson here is that on tax reform, the president should lead, and the House and the Senate have to get behind him.
The bill, look, I think the House bill and the president's bill are very similar, but the president's bill will prevail because it's going to be the president's bill. And one thing I think is going to happen.
And isn't that wonderful?
Well, that's the way it works here.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's taking a while for Mitch McConnell, for Paul Ryan, for them to remember how it works when you have a Republican president, and President Trump is now reminding them almost daily of the new reality.
I think there's a job now that President Trump has to do, and that is with Democrats saying all these wild things about the House bill that passed, you know, that it's going to cause people to die and so on. Yeah. That the president needs to step up and really do something he does well, marketing. Market the bill. Market the House bill. Knock down all these ridiculous charges by Democrats.
May I say, I think that the president, I don't think any of us have any doubt he's going to market and negotiate an outstanding result. But I also want to compliment the president for not rising to the bait and taking on these Dems who are talking pure nonsense. They've got two things that usually work for them: the politics of personal destruction and the big lie. They're in the big lie phase.
They're in the big lie.
They're in the big lie phase now, and no one's paying attention to them. They marginalize themselves. They are just continuing to get smaller by the day.
The third thing is that they have is that most of the mainstream media buys those lies.
Well, most of the mainstream media is complicit in those lies. Fred, you know that.
That was my point.
Okay, then I've done it again. You owe me big because I continue to do you favors.